on to the Saints game. Tough one.
Tough.
I feel your sympathy. Well, I don't feel it. I give you sympathy.
Tough.
It's a tough week. End of a decade, really. No, more than a decade. 2 decades, basically.
There's a few things I just want to list that are kind of like after the game. One, it finally kind of felt all right after a playoff loss. Why is that? Because it didn't feel like your heart got ripped out and shown to you like it did the last 3 years. So it was kind of like, oh, we lost. And like you kind of knew they lost with like 2 minutes left. So you got to like enough time to kind of like process it. And you're like, okay, well, this is the last time for Drew Brees. And you kind of like, well, thank you, Drew. And you don't really have like this, pent up anger, that they lost. Not that he played well. I mean, I kind of looked at him like either he got exposed this week or he was getting exposed next week. Kind of glad it happened now. But yeah, I mean, that was the biggest thing. It's like it felt like, oh, the Saints lost. Like, okay, but like, did they lose in some sort of disgusting fashion? No. Can you look back and be like, if Jared Cook didn't fumble that ball, would they have won that game? Probably, but they still had plenty of time in the game. I mean, also secondly, it's the end of an era, so you kind of look back at it and you kind of look at it in a very fond memory where you're like, oh well, it sucks now, but we had great memories for 15 years. I guess my third is a little bit of frustration in the sense that the Saints only won 1 Super Bowl with Drew Brees. And that's the biggest frustration, not necessarily as a fan, but I would think of collectively as them as an organization. So I look at like Aaron Rodgers, who only has 1 Super Bowl. And it's the same thing where it's like, I hope, and I don't think this will be, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go on some insane run the next 3 or 4 years because a lot of QBs are retiring in the NFC, but don't waste the talent that you have. Like if you think of 2014 to 2017, I'd say 2013 to 2016. Like those years were so bad. Like they just completely let him
off the rails, yeah.
I thought it was really poetic the way that they lost too, because what do you think of the Saints in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011? Think of awesome explosive offense, and you think of terrible secondary. And then in 2020, 2021, what do you think of the Saints? Think of awesome defense and a terrible, terrible passing offense.
It's hard to watch. It was hard to watch.
It was hard to watch.
I just think this isn't those last 2 years. It's not the Drew Brees I'm going to remember. Like the same way that, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Peyton Manning. And no one, it's like, oh, Peyton Manning. Remember how, they think about Peyton Manning as that 1 year in Denver where he's just like, or Brett Favre, same type of thing. But, I mean, I don't think of Drew like that. I think of really just, I don't know what happened. I really don't know. Maybe it's something you have to experience.
Well, there was a lot of things that went wrong with the Saints offense. I mean, the first thing the Buccaneers did really well is they played exceptional press man. I don't think every team, like I know the big thing is like, well, why doesn't every team play press man like the Buccaneers do? It's like every team tries it and they fail at it. They did a really good job of playing press man. I mean, the Saints losing Deontay Harris really early, that hurts them more than I think a lot of people recognize. Like I know it's not that important if they lose him against, say, the Falcons or Carolina, but they need that play on offense, that one player who at least kind of can threaten that he's going to go deep. Drew's not throwing it 40 yards, but you at least need a player who can clear through that zone, or you need at least a player you can throw a quick screen to, and it can go 60 yards. And you lose that, they kind of threw him off. They played tight. They had no one who could really get off press. Michael Thomas, he's getting three surgeries.
I didn't know he's never looked right.
His high ankle sprain was horrible. I think that requires 3 surgeries, and he had a torn torn deltoid or something like that too. So it kind of explains a lot. He didn't look right. Like I know everyone's like, well, where's Mike? Can't guard him. Where is he? It's like he
It's
compared
not
to
his style of play, first off.
well, his style of play is conducive to playing with Drew. He had a couple drops. Don't get me wrong, but it was I mean, it was tough.
I think it's maybe someone who I think next year might all of a sudden just go bananas. It's very possible that Michael Thomas just kind of, it's just a bad year.
He was. I mean, I was looking at 2017 stuff and 2018 stuff just to kind of try to compare where the offense was when it was with Drew, when he can still let it go. Like I would say up until like week 13 in 2018, he could still hit it 50 yards downfield. And I know like the common thing is like Michael Thomas just runs slants. Like no, they're hitting Michael Thomas like 30, 40 yards downfield. So he'll come back. He'll come back strong. I know there's a lot of like trepidation whether or not he's going to get traded potentially. I think that's a.
Let's talk about the game here.
Yes.
Okay. Because as much of it, God, it was really, honestly, it was kind of the Saints not executing. Yeah. I don't think really Tampa Bay did anything all that special. They didn't have to. The game fell into their lap. I mean, it helps. I mean, like the Saints matched up really well defensively against them, especially in the secondary. They had the players who not only were talented, but kind of physically matched up with them. Like even the touchdown Mike Evans had, like, what do you want Lattimore to do? He's there. Like if he's gonna make a play on that ball, it's gonna be PI anyways. But like the opportunities were there. It's really hard. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. That's not the reason why they lost.
No, but, I mean they lost because you turned the ball over 4 times. I mean it's like it's so cliche, but it's like if you turn the ball over 4 times, I would honestly argue like I don't necessarily like looking at the last 2 interceptions because I just think like if the game goes to just kind of on plan and on script, you never even have those 2 turnovers, like those 2 last picks. Like you're pressing, like especially the last one. It's like you look at it on tape. There's no one open. You gotta put it there.
You have to make a play. It's desperation mode. The one thing thing that pops up in my head every time I watch Tampa, time I watch Philadelphia, go, what in the hell is the plan here? I still don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do on offense. I have no idea. It feels every single play, they're like trying to breeze through the Madden playbook, and they're like, this one looks good. Like, I don't know. Are they going to run the ball? Are they going to stick to that? Or are they like, maybe we should try and get Antonio Brown going? Why?
Yeah.
You don't have to get these players going. And part of that, I think, is just not a lot of great communication on that side of the ball with them. They have enough players where it just works, but it's just, if everything clicks, oh my God. It's like, how are you going to stop them?
Well, I mean, they could run the ball every play. I'm watching the game cheering for the Saints, and I'm writing down, I don't know why they didn't just run the ball there. Like, why? You got 5 yards in the first down.
I honestly don't think they're like running the ball because like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense because Ronald Jones is actually, he really impressed me every time I watch him. Like, why is he not getting the ball more? And they're just like,
they love
we feel like giving Fournette the ball. Why? Let's bring in McCoy. Like, there's no real structure to it. It's just like, we feel like this is going to work. I mean, maybe there's a structure. But
there is.
I sure as hell can't tell.
They do well. I think they'll do much better this week. I think, again, you said it right. Like the Saints secondary, well, first off, the Saints secondary matches up with everyone. I'm trying to think of a better secondary unit in the NFL. Like they were terrible to start the year. And then once they kind of gelled a little bit, I think that's the best secondary in the NFL. So like I can think of better corners, but I can't think of a better like collective corners and safety unit that go even deeper past the first and second string. Like even when guys got hurt, they were fine. So I don't necessarily like worry too much on the Buccaneers. I think they match up better next week. If they can push the ball. That said, if it snows, then that's off the table. I mean, again, like it was a great game plan defensively by Tampa Bay. I don't feel like there's much a touch on their offense, but Devin White played
They got
well.
Devin White back. He's gonna be back. I was kind of hoping
Sue
maybe
played,
they're on to him.
JPP played really well. Secondary was exceptional. They did everything they needed to do. It was the total opposite of what they did on the Sunday night game until late in the game. Like the late in the game against the Saints when they won 38-3, they went to a lot of press man, but it was already too late. So I think they probably went back. They saw that that's what worked, and then they went from there.
If they showed up to this game and they didn't execute, I don't know how Bruce Arians keeps his job. Like,
no, I don't. Yeah, I don't think he does.
It would. I would. If they showed up and were not able to be competitive, it would have just been like, okay, so guess what? That would clearly be a coaching issue, and guess what? That guy's in your division, so you're gonna have to play him.
Yeah.
So at that point, who knows? It's just I can't believe they're even here, but it's really hard to see them winning the Super Bowl.
It
just doesn't get done like this. It's just this is not how football is as a team sport is constructed.
No. So I don't if I had to pick one that was the least likely to win the Super Bowl, it's probably the Buccaneers. That said, they have Tom Brady and things seem to
Tom just shows up
or he makes it happen. I'm not sure which way it goes, but I mean he did everything he needed to do that game. Like the game is again like no necessarily like indictment on Tom Brady. He played perfectly rational in my opinion. He almost had a couple interceptions and threw a couple touchdowns and just played within the realm of the game and just kind of waited for the Saints to make mistakes, which is very uncharacteristic. I would have loved to see again like if Jared Cook doesn't fumble that ball and the Saints go down and score and they're up 14. First, it was going to be interesting because if you want to see like Tom Brady greatness in the playoffs, all right, there's his opportunity. We got to see, okay, here we go, and either it's like mono a mono, but no, we didn't get that. So it's unfortunate.
This game took place a few years ago. Obviously, it's a little more difficult.
Oh my God!
Given the situations,
it was good.
It has all the makings, but at that point in these guys' careers that it was never going to be that type of matchup that we hope for the Saints to win that game by a lot. You're going like, man, Kamara is going to put up like what 220, like something like that.
I mean,
but as far as like all-purpose yardage and like touchdowns, that's kind of how they win those games.
Yeah, I mean, Kamara never really matched up. Kamara, when he matches up in the NFC South, I always point this out. It's like a frustration, but it's so true. If you look at the defenses of the NFC South, like the Falcons, and you look at the Panthers, their defense is specifically designed to beat the Saints. A lot of lateral quickness, a massive emphasis on the front seven. Like that's the most important. And their linebackers are very rangy. I know that applies to a lot of teams, but you think of like Devin White.
It's like the ultimate of range.
Yeah. Like when he got drafted, I was like, oh, they drafted him because they're like, we need to. That was I think in 2018. I think it was after Alvin Kamara. They're like, okay, this guy's gonna be the division for a long time. We need someone who can neutralize it. And Atlanta, they have a linebacker like that too. I forget his name, but both their linebackers in Atlanta are very good too. But they do it so they play against the Saints very well. He gets hidden against them. Usually Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara don't play well against those teams, so it's up to other guys. Sucks that they didn't pull it off, but such is life. I mean,
it's an interesting offseason.
It's
the first time since Katrina. Basically, Saints are going. We got to make a very franchise changing decision.
Sign Jameis, give him a year.
Hell, I mean, there's quarterbacks on the market. I don't know how much they're going to.
They can't afford anyone.
Yeah, no one. That's the thing.
They're $90 million right now over the current cap, and that's before
$90 million over the 90. Cap.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're really good at restructuring, and so they're probably going to extend a couple guys.
Does Drew's contract get eliminated from the Bucs?
No, not this year. So that's also why. So they're on the hook for 21 million in voided with Drew Brees. And then so their 2021 free agent class is like not too bad. Like the biggest one is Marcus Williams. I'm not sure if they're gonna end up re-signing him. He's gonna probably get good stuff or good money on the market. Trey Hendrickson, obviously, who I think was a 1-year wonder.
He did improve, but yeah, it's kind of odd to see this
Yeah,
guy come out with like black long sleeves, looking like he's straight out of NCAA 08, and you're like,
it was. I mean, he's always been solid, but it was kind of suspicious. And if you watch how like teams react to him, he's good. But like when they put Marcus Davenport in, who gets hurt and doesn't have the sack numbers because he doesn't play as often, but is definitely much more talented. You just see like the difference
oh yeah,
in the
he's got
offensive
the
line. Like,
he's got
oh
the
my
physical
god,
tools.
oh holy crap! Like, yeah, the Trey Hendrickson has 13 and a half sacks. Okay, cool. Marcus Davenport has like 3, but like one of them is much more athletically gifted. You could just see it. It's like, holy crap, his burst up the line is unmatched compared to.
He could be one of those guys that gets kind of. I don't know if he'll get picked up. I don't know if his option will get picked up.
Davenport.
But I think he might be one of those guys who gets kind of let go, gets signed to a 1-year type of deal, then gets maybe if he shows out in that 1-year type of deal, then he gets his contract. But
yeah,
he is a.
It's an exciting offseason. It's the first time the Saints got a different look. And I mean, I wrote down, I think that honestly, who was the weakest link in the game? It was a quarterback. Okay, who's back? Who's not back next year? Quarterback. Okay, great. They keep most of this team intact, which I think they can do for the most part. I don't see why they can't make another run. Do you think? Like, I honestly think if Jameis Winston played quarterback for the Saints against the Buccaneers on Sunday, I think the Saints win.
I think if they prepare him for it, and obviously they don't run the same type of offense.
Yeah, obviously.
Sean Payton's a coach, and he's going to put his players in a position to win the game, even if sometimes I go, oh man, why are we taking Drew Brees off the field for Taysom Hill to run like QB power the last couple of years? A little suspect. But I think, yeah, probably. But maybe Jameis makes similar mistakes, just not in the same position of the field. But I think they would have more balance of an offense. I don't know if they win because I don't know. But I would like to see Jameis play the Bucs. That would be interesting. And
he got the one.
He got a touchdown pass. We got to talk about that play because
they stole it right from the. I said right off the bat. That was the Bears ran that play last week. No one picked up on that.
Nagy did it. Oh, okay, yeah, so it's that's part of the thing in the NFL that I love watching is knowing that even on trick plays, they're like, oh, we know that like teams have scouted this. Like, oh, it's a trick play, but like this play won't work if we don't have a wrinkle in it. Like, we got to go off of this because like it needs another option because they know that's coming. So even on the trick play, there's like, gotcha again. Like they know that you're going to cover it. That's just
yeah, they're already on they had Alvin was quadruple teamed, and it's like, all right, well, that's what you have. Traquan just split the middle. I think also like saw a couple of things where like, see, they don't even trust Drew Brees to throw that pass. Like, no, I think you put Jameis in there because it already starts already makes a team kind of go like, what's going on here?
I would have had, I mean, in all of those situations where they run the quarterback wildcat type of deal, I think it should be, I guess the idea is that you can hit a play, stay within your offense, and kind of potentially keep the defense on the field. But I mean, it's just a dead player on the field. I'm still surprised the defenses, they do have to put someone on him.
They put a body there.
But there has to be some form of strategy for the defense where it's like, oh, I see Wildcat. Like, let's put like the least important player on the quarterback instead of like Tre'Davious White.
Well, there's a play, especially in this game, that kind of exemplifies that point where it was an incomplete pass. I think Drew Brees was throwing like a 20-yard seam to, or whatever, 17-yard seam to Emmanuel Sanders, but split with Emmanuel Sanders was Michael Burton, their fullback. Like, you do that just basically to offset personnel because they don't know how you're lining up. They just see like a fullback's in the game, so sometimes that'll jank up the defensive setup, and they're both running essentially goes, but they have a corner lined up on Michael Burton, and like you could just see the corner's just like, all right, well, I can just play both of these guys because I know the ball's not going. The ball's not going to the fullback 30 yards downfield. Like he doesn't have to respect that area of the field. So and he makes a play on over the top on Sanders, who beats his guy, but the corner who's covering the fullback on the go is like, all right, well, there's no point. And those routes, it almost makes more sense to not even run him on a deep pattern. But I think it's good. Have the quarterback. I think it's fine to have a quarterback there. I think it makes more sense. It gives them that always have to like, I don't know what's going to happen.
No, but what I mean is you should be putting your backup.
Yeah, I
James
agree.
Winston's the more athletic option in that situation. He should have
Jason.
always been being put on the field, unless there's maybe some rule about he would have to change his helmet or something.
No,
unless
I don't think
cause I guess he'd be okay because he'd be the guy he would have to be calling the play.
You don't even need a guy with it if you don't want it. There's no rule against not wearing it.
No, I mean, like, maybe there's a rule that you can't have two, but you'd be taking two off. It would be
You're
a
right.
little more difficult because he would be coming onto the field in a quarterback switch. But they did it and it worked, so it wouldn't be too surprising. But I'd like to see that
There's
where
a number.
you put more of a threat there.
There's a number eligibility thing. I don't think it would apply to the quarterback. That's the only thing that would make sense when it comes to eligible players. But that's about it. So
And I was talk about taking away the excitement of the play when you see the flag out.
Oh my God.
Going, oh yeah, illegal formation. Like obviously, like he got wide open. It's like
yeah,
and then part of me is also like, do you understand how much time they spent on this play?
Yeah,
there's 0% chance it's an illegal formation because they're looking at it. They're going, wow, this is a great play. Is there anything possibly wrong with it? And they're like, nope, line.
They'll call referees. They have a referee on hand. They're like, oh, that's legal? Yep, good. Like there's no that got me too. And I saw the play, like somebody false started.
No, I thought instantly it was a legal formation. So that type of flag.
No, I was like, there's no way. Also sometimes what happens is the player forgets to report eligible. And that kills them because they're just so juiced up on the play. They're like, oh man, this worked all practice, all week, every week. Oh, here we go. Going in the game, totally forget to report as eligible. I would like them to see like them just that person just put the flag in their pocket and then maybe confer with the other referee before throwing it. Just for the sake of,
I don't care as long as they make their decision on the moment. As long as they make a call, not make the call. That's kind of the problem with it. Topic for another segment.
Oh, you mean we were holding for an administrative issue, and then we actually stopped the clock so they could change the ball and kick the ball at the end of the half. It was an administrative thing. We weren't sure what to do. That was I forget his name. He killed me this year. I forget the referee's name, but he was Mr. Administrative timeout. And I don't know if it was because like there's no fans or maybe I'm paying attention more, but it seemed like there was a lot of administrative issues this year for some reason when there was no freaking fans. You can just yell at each other from across the field, man.
Well, then let's talk about the refs because I think that's kind of an important point this year and overall in the NFL. It's kind of something that has kind of been sticking out to me, and it has been the loss of these
legends,
authority figures.
Yeah, legends
that do kind of have respect. I think with some of these guys, you get the sense, and I think it's the most important thing with refs, umpires, and what have you, is that you get the feeling that they're going to give you a fair shake. They'll hear your shit, they'll take it, they're going to give you a fair chance. And that's all you kind of want. Someone who's going to go, oh, look, I saw what I saw. I'm not going to go, well, what if it didn't happen? And we'll just rely on replay. Because when you rely on replay, coin flip, who knows? There's no, especially on things like spots or like recovering the ball, no chance. There's never going to be a shot that overturns your decision. So if you waver on it, like all of these refs seem to be doing, because of course the only ref news is bad news. It's it's a little frustrating to watch the game now. And potentially it's a lot really fast, and where they put the officials on the field, of course, the umpires now behind the quarterback.
There's only so much they can do, but also at the same time, they've been doing it relatively.
And of course, your talent pool is tiny because there is something that I always thought maybe being like an umpire, that would be cool. Cool job, referee. And then you think, imagine being married to an umpire.
Yeah.
Dude's just like working in like freaking Waco.
Yeah, that's
umpiring like a single A game.
Yeah.
Like, not exactly a job for it. You have to be basically like, I think also what they're really good at is just being fantastic interpreters of the rule book. That's why they can officiate other sports. It's not just I'm a referee of the NFL. No, they're just really good at understanding and how to interpret the rule book. Like Stare Tour, college basketball, same type of deal.
Oh, he did that? I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, you mean as an analyst?
No, as an official in the offseason.
Oh, really?
He'd ref college basketball.
No,
makes sense. He's just because you're a lawyer, one thing doesn't mean you can't be a lawyer in a different type of field. It's interesting, and that is part of the problem is that they kind of don't have a talent pool because obviously, like, who's going to be an official, and people who generally want to become officials, there's some form of like that cop type of aspect, that authority figure.
Bunch of squares.
Yeah, but at least in the NFL, it's not like they're like 78. At least they can see.
Oh, you know what? I want to say I don't think the refereeing has been. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the refereeing on the field hasn't been terrible this year.
It's not. It's just those moments of waffling that is very.
The reviews have been especially bad. The reviews have been just straight up coin flips. Like, I don't know. That could be a touchdown. Might not be. We don't know. I would like that to be faster. The one thing I like that the NFL does is everything when it's close to a first down, they're just like, yep, foot's on the yard line.
Yeah.
That was definitely. I don't know when that was discussed. It was sometime this offseason. Hey, buddy, if it looks like he's maybe an inch or two short, maybe just put your foot right on the yard line. Boom, first down. Fuck it, go.
They really do not have a great angle. I mean, they do the best they can, but it's a terrible angle.
Why is it not a sensor? There's already a chip in the ball. There's already
a chip.
There's a next gen stat chip in the ball. Why is the I don't understand. I get it because there's discretion involved, but especially with the end zone, why is it not just like, oh, poop, it touched, oh, it hit, the sensor hit, that's a touchdown, automatic?
Because everyone likes.
There's like, next gen sensors in
every single business. They're going to, just like the NFL, they're going to go, oh my God, how can we play everyone? We got to spend, $200 million on the
it's already
the roster, and then whoa, the coach asked for $100,000 more. I don't know about that. Like, it seems like maybe it would be something. NFL's a TV sport. I think it would be a lot better if you had that. Every time I see a spot, I think how many miles, hundreds of miles, thousands of miles of misspotted balls have occurred in the history.
Insane. And
same thing with baseball. Like, how many historic plays in baseball would have stood if replay happened? Like, historic moments.
Yeah.
They're just like, because you see in baseball, every call's 50-50.
Oh my God, they used to get guys on those classic strikeouts, like a slider blowing away, and it's like an inch or two off the plate, but it's 3-2. There's a runner in scoring position. It's the bottom of the eighth, and the ump's just got him.
Yeah, or the play at the plate.
Oh, I know
I got to take the mask off. I got to get into position and then emphatically make the call, even though I could be dead wrong, like absolutely dead wrong, and then stick to it and stick to your guns and call you crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, without the crowd, I think with the NFL we got maybe a little bit better. I still think the refereeing needs to get more efficient. I think you're right that it's strictly due to, I mean, maybe the old guard not being there as much anymore, and some more fresh faces that aren't used to like officiating on the NFL level and dealing with all the crap, and I'm sure they deal with on the sidelines.
They know they're being watched. They know that their former superiors are judging them on television. They know that.
There's so much on the line. I think they need to be extremely accountable. The amount of money that's being wagered on each game, and like I think I view that almost as more important than like teams making it to the next round of the playoffs.
You have to consider it.
Someone's got, well, that's the thing, right? And that's why if we're gonna have the conversation about refereeing and we're gonna have the conversation about legal sports gambling in almost all of America, to the point where we'll be very soon be able to bet on each play because the latency issue will be taken off. And sorry, earmuffs on the children. If someone's swearing, well, you're gonna hear it because you'll be able to bet on the next play. What do you think the next play is? Run or pass or whatever it is. Is that going to be a touchdown? No touchdown.
I don't know if that.
There's a lot of money being wagered. There
I don't
needs
know
to be
if
a
that
referee.
does kind of sound a lot like, I don't know if maybe that what's going to happen on
Gonna happen.
I don't know how that would. I guess it would be such a big. Oh my god, it'd be a massive money maker. Are you kidding me? You got to get it right. Of all of the options on what the play is going to be next, it'd be like completion to Michael Thomas, like 10% chance.
You could do it on the fly. And anyway, it'll be an issue until latency is gone, which I don't think will take long. I bet you it takes one broadcast, like an Amazon Prime broadcast. It'll be like, oh yeah, this broadcast will have no 5-second latency. Earmuffs on your.
Well, they do need it. They need it.
And
for
then when that goes, every other network will be like, oh man, everybody wants that. We need to adjust to.
You don't think they know that? All of their other television shows on those networks are already just destroyed because obviously that's not what people want. The only thing that they're really getting a lot of views for. That's why they spend so much money on it. They know that's their bread and butter. It's the only thing people are going to watch. What are you going to watch? Like another Chicago show?
Yeah, well, I want
another hospital show.
Well, yeah,
another feel-good show
with the Grey's Anatomy mixed with House.